Today, tomorrow, together. If it's Gaborone, the capital of Botswana, in June, it's the Toyota Kalahari Botswana 1000 Desert Race.
Run for the 29th time this year, the Toyota Desert Race is the only marathon race on the ABSA Off-Road Championship calendar, and it's the biggest sporting and social event of the year in Botswana.
Run over 3 days, the Toyota Kalahari Botswana 1000 Desert Race kicks off with a 70-kilometer prologue to determine start positions. A good grid position is imperative, and prologues always provide for plenty of drama.
Among the favourites for this year's race were the Donaldson-Nissan Navara pair of Hannes Grobler and reigning South African co-drivers champion Joan Moore. Grobler is a favourite in Botswana and has 5 desert race wins to his credit, while Moore won in a special vehicle with Mark Corbett.
It's a very bad event for the body panels and for the looks of the car, because the bush just tears it apart, and there's some sections where you just go through the bush and it absolutely tears the car apart. It's not so hard on the gearboxes and the drivetrain, but you got to look after it. It's 1,000 k's, not 500.
The father and son pair of Hichu and Jaap de Bruin in the Micra Excel Toyota Hilux were looking for their 3rd prologue victory in a row.
We struggled a bit in the beginning to get used to the terrain, a little bit slippery, but after that we settled down and we had a clean run. As I said, the bucky is perfect, nothing wrong with the bucky. We're still waiting for the times now, but I think we must more or less be in the top 5, hopefully.
There were early battle scars for George and Sharon Barkhuizen in the AIM Toyota Hilux, and a steady performance from Harry Smith pair Kobus van Tonda and Rian Gwalpa in the ex-factory Ford Ranger. Ford is the first manufacturer to go diesel route in the ABSA Off-Road Championship, and there were high hopes for the two works twin-turbo diesel Ford Ranger TDCIs, prepared in Pietermaritzburg by former SA champion Neil Woolridge.
We're finding our feet, and we're finding our feet quite quickly. We've done testing, and we're very happy with the car. We've made a lot of changes to the car again after Sugar Belt, with some big improvements. It's a big learning curve for us, but hopefully we'll close the gap, and hopefully before the end of the year we can knock them off the pedestal.
Circuit racing and kart star Leroy Poulter and Rob Howie blitzed the Class E opposition in the factory Ferodo Nissan hardbody, with championship leaders Cliff and Louis Weichelt setting the pace in Class D in the N1 4x4 Toyota Hilux D4D.
Hannes Grobler with Jean Moore and Chris Visser with Jaapie Badenhorst in the RFS Toyota Hilux shared the fastest time, with Poulter and Howie breaking into the top 10 in the Class E Nissan hardbody.
The Century Racing pair of Colin Matthews and Alan Smith produced a blistering run to dominate the special vehicle category.
It's an advantage, come on, you know, it's nice to be up front. It's the first time, I think it's the first time we've won it overall up front, so it's going to be very nice. It's going to be lots of fun tomorrow.
Former quad racer Jimmy Zahus and Stefan Kutsia were the surprise package in the Mountain Dew Porter, while Nick and Ryan Harper produced another solid performance in the Atlas Copco Bat. Former winner Mark Corbett and Rudy Balzar came up with an encouraging run in the Century Racing CR2 4x4, and Don Thompson and James Watson dominated Class P and were in among the Class A contenders.
Yeah, no, we had a good run there, settled down. I really enjoyed the track. Yeah, we didn't take too many wrong slots, 1 or 2, but yeah, we had a hell of a good run.
Defending champion Shamir Variawa and Siegfried Rousseau were also happy with their prologue performance.
I think we're in a comfortable position. I think 5th or 6th on the road. Yeah, it just remains now. We just got to keep the pressure on the guys in front and see what happens.
The Cape Town pair of Derek Dutoy and Ian Pienaar set the pace in Class B in the Orange Tree Bat. But the big talking point was the absence of championship leaders Evan Hutchinson and Achim Bergman from the top 10 in the special vehicle category.
There was an air of expectation on day 2 of the race as VIPs and spectators crowded the start with the Toyota Kalahari Botswana 1000 Desert Race, a unique event in that it unites an entire nation.
All over Botswana, people actually travel from as far out as Francistown and Maun to visit Gaborone just for the race, and they actually enjoy it. They camp out there the whole weekend. There's just a hype of activity. It's got tremendous support among the local people.
The first cars away in the production vehicle category were the Donaldson Nissan Navara of local favourite Hannes Grobler and Jean Moore, and the RFS Toyota Hilux of Chris Visser and Jaapie Badenhorst, with the two crews sharing the fastest prologue time.
There was early drama though when Hannes Grobler and Jean Moore and teammates Ivan Tollefson and Quinn Evans hit the same rock. The Grobler car was cannibalized to keep Tollefson and Evans going. There were also problems for Higo and Jaap de Bruin with the broken stub axle halting their progress, and the series of events conspired to hand the race lead to the factory Castrol Toyota Hilux crew of Hein Latergan and Chris Birkin. Unfortunately for them, they were also to fall by the wayside before the first designated service points.
Charging through the field were Duncan Foss and Rolf Pitchford in the third Works Donaldson Nissan Navara. They started 28th on the road after a disappointing prologue and had scythed through the field. Also going well but carrying the scars of battle were George and Sharon Barkhuizen in the AIM Toyota Hilux. Kobus van Tonder and Riaan Gulper looked to be in good shape in the Unifreight Ford Ranger and were running ahead of the two Works entries. Chris Visser and Jaapie Badenhorst had slightly altered the aerodynamics on the RFS Toyota Hilux, but were also going strongly. Behind them, former SA champions Neil Woolridge and Kenny Scholthammer were also to run into problems and failed to make it to the first designated service point.
Pretoria student Christian de Plooy and a tough rugby fanatic Henk Janse van Vieren were putting together a solid performance in the second RFS Toyota Hilux, and behind them, Anthony Taylor and Robin Houghton were on a charge in the second factory Castrol Toyota Hilux.
An unhappy day for the Works Ford Racing Ranger team saw the demise of Thomas Rundle and Stavros Giannakis, who all but disappeared into a mud hole that claimed a number of other victims.
On their desert race debut, the Transcorp Ford Ranger pair of Graham Leith and Mike Lawrenson were putting together their best performance of the season, while Gary Berthold and Donnie Stassen were another Toyota crew in a hurry in a much modified vehicle. Behind them, Terence Marsh and Peter Groenewald were also going along steadily on what was to be a long day.
It was tough going for the Class D and Class E runners, with Picky Labuskaghni and Rikus Erasmus setting the pace in Class E in the 4x4 Mega World Toyota Hilux. Class D champions Cliff and Louis Weichelt failed to make it to the start, and the early running was made by Dewald van Breda and Johan de Tooy in the Northam Toyota D4D. Chasing van Breda and de Tooy were brothers Johan and Werner Horn in the Malelani Toyota Land Cruiser.
At the designated service point, an unbelievable performance had taken Duncan Foss and Ralph Pitchford into the lead. The Nissan crew were followed by Kobus van Tonder and Riaan Gulper, with the RFS Toyota Hilux entries of Visser and Badenhorst and de Plooy with Janse van Vieren also having good runs. Anthony Taylor and Robin Houghton were making up ground, but for Castrol Toyota teammate Hein Latergan, there was very severe disappointment.
I liked the corners, so we were going well. We caught all the guys in front of us and passed them one by one. Then Hannes had the problem when he hit the rock. We almost hit the same rock, but I could avoid it in time. So we had a very good run. It was very disappointing when the suspension broke.
At the DSP halt, Foss and Pitchford already had a lead of 12 minutes. Taylor, Houghton and Berthold Stassen lost time in mud holes, and Labuskaghni and Erasmus were going great guns at the front of Class E.
Vehicle and asset finance from Absa, overcoming all obstacles.
Absolute entertainment. Absolute engineering.